3 years to the day, a young medical student was gang raped and tortured in a moving bus here in the streets of the national capital. That incident shook India to its very core. Thousands came together, angry, disappointed, but determined to bring about a change. They happily faced lathi charge and water cannons because they demanded that change be brought. 3 years later, has that hurt been forgotten? Have we lulled ourselves into the familiar disdain? Hello and welcome to a very special edition of CJ Plus Agenda for Change. Breaking the silence of denial and inaction today, voices that continue to demand change, all in the next 30 minutes.
Today when we are standing 20 women here on the streets, we have been walking across CP screaming that 16 दिसंबर याद है पर फिर भी आज हम बाहर हैं और हम लड़ेंगे।
चलती बस में मेरा हाथ पकड़ खींचता है, बोलता है पैसे नीचे दूंगा। चलती हुई बस में हाथ खींचा और वो सभी पैसेंजर बैठे हुए थे, किसी ने भी ये नहीं कहा कि भाई तू लड़की से ऐसे क्यों बोल रहा है, कोई बीच में बोला ही नहीं। वही वाली चीज़ है कि मोमबत्तियाँ मरने के बाद तो हर कोई आया कि हाँ मोमबत्ती लेके सहानुभूति में चल रहा है, पर जब जरूरत होती है हेल्प की तब कोई खड़ा नहीं होता है।
अरे 16 दिसंबर याद है, याद है, याद है। 16 दिसंबर की लड़ाई जारी है, जारी है, जारी है। औरतों को सुरक्षा के पिंजरे में कैद करना बंद करो, बंद करो, बंद करो। Yes, 3 years later, the laws have been changed. Funds were allotted, fast-track courts were supposed to be set up, but on ground, has anything changed? Do the young girls of the national capital feel any safer? So I'm joined here today, 3 years later, on a cold winter's night, by youngsters of the national capital, young boys, young girls. Tell me today, 3 years later, do you feel any safer in the national capital?
I think our idea of safety has been determined by a lot of other people, and as women we're never given the right to even speak about what we demand in terms of safety. Give us street lights, give us anti-sexual harassment committees at universities. In fact, after December 16, where a discourse of safety should have kick-started on the basis of how we can imagine a public space where there are a lot of women, we don't speak about that, and all that we're speaking about is कि आप hostel का timings मतलब और ये कर दो, कम कर दो, मतलब 8:30 का टाइम को 7:30 रख दो because the Delhi is unsafe.
So what we are saying is that the safety of women, young girls, cannot mean that we cage them.
Safety is a very complicated issue. It's not like, you know, there should be more CCTV cameras, there should be more policemen, which would lead to safety. Safety is something which will have to be it will have to be a public discourse. It will have to be questions about infrastructure. What happened on 16th December did not happen because she was out there at night on the street. It happened because she was there alone on the street and she was in the bus alone. Today when we are standing 20 women here on the streets, we have been walking across CP screaming that 16 दिसंबर याद है पर फिर भी आज हम बाहर हैं और हम लड़ेंगे.
When you go to the police to report an incident or you go to your university, do you think there is a sense of sensitivity with which they deal with the issue? He's nodding his head. No?
Yesterday, a similar incident happened with me. So I was sitting with my female friend in around Karol Bagh Ridge. You know, you have that monument here, Bhuli Bhutiari Ka Mahal. I was sitting there around 5:36. So, so a policeman comes to us and says, how can you sit here post sunset, post dark? If you would have been two males, it would have been a group, you know, even co-ed. Then it would have been fine. But a girl and a boy can't sit here.
But even at Occupy UGC, where you say, you know, you are supposed to have women constables to deal with women subjects, but is that the case? That's always, you know, you don't really have women constables.
And in terms of also in terms of sensitive, like if you see Delhi University, the Delhi police comes up with big posters as like being a woman should not make you feel vulnerable. Like, is that your concern or is that your idea of being sensitive to women who want to assert themselves? Like there is this woman who is holding books, and like that is how a woman can even loiter in streets, like with a purpose, with a book. For some reason.
Yeah. Questions like what was she doing at such and such time? Who was she with? Do you encounter questions like this on a day-to-day basis?
I mean, these are questions that basically dictate the bad girl, good girl dichotomy. The idea, like the law, says that like sexual harassment or sexual outrage means outraging the modesty of a woman. So you have to first prove that the woman
Was modest.
was modest
Yeah.
enough to have
Yeah.
been
Yeah,
outraged,
yeah.
or the woman was virgin enough to have been raped, or the woman was good enough to have been harassed.
Also, what is the role of the men? How do the boys fit in this whole scenario? Are the rules same for them? And this whole notion of the protector, the man has to be the protector. Do you find yourself fitting in that role, or you think that women don't need protectors, you know?
अरे ना वार्डन ना भाई, महिला लड़ेंगी अपनी लड़ाई, ना वार्डन ना भाई, औरतें लड़ेंगी अपनी लड़ाई.
Yeah.
I
that
think
pretty
they have,
much
they have
answers
given the
the
answer.
question.
They have given the answer.
But do you
And
feel the
I
pressure
just- no,
as a boy, as a man in the city? Do you feel the pressure that you have to live up to that role?
I don't feel the pressure. I'm just worried. You know, अगर आप अपनी 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 लाइफ में आप जो करना चाहते हैं अगर वो खुद आप चूज नहीं कर सकते, then what kind of empower you will not feel adequate. You will not feel a complete person if you cannot choose your own life. You cannot choose when you want to go out, when you want to come in. If you cannot choose, you are not complete as a person. So
I
I'm
mean,
just
what
worried
we are
about
asking
that.
for is a
That-
simple thing, isn't it? For a woman to be able to walk the street without being harassed.
Right to take our own risk.
Yeah.
आप हमारा रिस्क भी तय करते हो और हम उस रिस्क को ले आगे लेके जाए नहीं ले वो भी आप तय करते हो.
I think this is also about the media, you know, the way media reports cases and, you know, the way they like to dissect a woman's character or try to pinpoint these cause for the rape. So, I mean, this is also the way these kind of discourses get served to an average middle class Indian household, which then propagates the same kind of notions.
What do you want to achieve today? You're out with banners, you're going to take a bus ride. What is it? What is the idea behind this whole thing?
I think an imagination that at night lot of women come out in public spaces. So as young women we are going to take that bus ride and say that see we are urging everyone to come together and envisage a future in the city where women are there out in the night.
It is about us coming together, occupying public spaces and creating new imaginations about how this city could be different for women from all sections of society.
Absolutely. We wish you all the best. Thanks very much. And yes, it is time for women to assert themselves, to give it back. And that is exactly what our citizen journalist Prerna Pratham Singh did. Well, she was in news, at least on social media, because she got obnoxious messages from one person. But she didn't stay quiet. She gave it back to him. Her efforts were applauded even by the Delhi police. Here she is now speaking to Runjhun Sharma about why it is important to speak out.
Hi, my name is Prerna Pratham Singh and I have turned citizen journalist to tell people that cyberspace still needs improvement and become a safer place for all of us. I was using Facebook doing something and this message popped up. When I checked it, this man had sent me this really vulgar, obnoxious message and it just went over my head. I was like, this is it. I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm going to write back. So I wrote back, took a screenshot and I posted it on my wall. The moment I shared it, and it had literally exploded. So I didn't expect that kind of a response, but it actually made me really happy. Many people started commenting, many channels, many pages, Facebook pages started sharing it on their walls, and many of my friends, their acquaintances, they shared it, and I started getting messages and replies. Even the Delhi police came forward, and that's why I decided that yeah, that's why I'll go and file an FIR. If you're a victim of cyber abuse, you should never ever hold back, sit down or shut up. You should always speak out, because the onus does not lie on you. It lies on the person who's the perpetrator. I am Prerna Pratham Singh, citizen journalist for CNN IPN.
Oppression and patriarchy is something that the women of our country have lived with. Even today, young girls of the Bora community have to undergo female genital mutilation, something
that's called khatna or female circumcision. Now this is a process where a healthy tissue of a woman's genitalia, of a young girl's genitalia, is snipped off by a non-professional using a blade or a razor. Now this concept stems from the patriarchal idea of curbing a girl's sexuality. Masuma is someone who's gone through this procedure as a 7-year-old child. She's now speaking out against this issue, turning a citizen journalist.
Violence against women in India is an issue with which we are all grappling with. However, there is one issue on women as well as girl child which is seldom talked about and which the Indians are barely aware of. And that issue is that of female genital mutilation. It is also known as female circumcision or khatna. I, Masuma Ranalvi, turned into a citizen journalist, would like to appeal to the government of India to bring about a ban on female genital mutilation. I belong to the Dawoodi Bohra community, which is headquartered in India. We have more than 1 million adherents of the Dawoodi Bohras in India. We have a practice in our community which is known as female circumcision. What is this practice? I'd like to describe it a little. At the age of 6 to 7 years old, a girl child is subject to circumcision. Circumcision means a part of her genitalia is cut. This happens in an extremely secretive and clandestine manner. It is the most unhygienic manner in which it is conducted. My personal experience is when I was 7 years old, I was taken by my grandmother into one dark, dingy building in Bohra Mohalla in Mumbai on the pretext of buying me some ice cream or candy. I was not informed about what was going to happen to me or why it was going to happen to me. I was taken here and I was taken into one dark room, told to lie down. My pants were removed and this strange woman with a blade cut a part of a healthy tissue of my genitalia. I was in pain and agony for days to come after that. I cried after I got home. It causes a lot of problems in many cases because it is done in an extremely unhygienic manner with an unanesthetized manner with a blade or a razor. There are lots of genital sores, there's problem in passing urine, and there are a lot of medical complications also which happens. There is no explanation which is given by the community to us about it. There is no question of consent of the child in this particular case, and it's in gross violation of all human rights. It stems from a very deep-rooted patriarchal belief that women have to be curbed, that women and women's sexuality is the cause of all problems, and women have to be kept under control. She has no right to love, she has no right to have sexual desires and sexual pleasures, and that to maintain fidelity in the family and in the marriage, it is a woman who has to be curbed. I mean, till today I have a very dark and sordid memory about it, which I have suppressed, which I have never ever talked about for all these years. Believe me, this happened to me 40 years ago, but it is today that I am actually out in the open talking about it and sharing my experience, because I know this is an experience which every Bohra sister has gone through with me. And if we will not talk about it, if we will not come out and explain the trauma and the tragedy which has happened with us, how are we even going to fight against it, and how are we going to ask for a ban against it? December 2012, the United Nations passed a resolution which was signed by 194 countries. And the resolution said that the countries who have signatories of this resolution will make every attempt to spread awareness in their communities and in their countries about the ill effects of FGM and move towards banning this practice in their countries. Today we are in 2015, 3 years down the line. I don't see any move in India to raise any awareness about the issue, to educate women about this issue, or to even ban this issue. Today you will find many women in different parts of India as well as world who have on their own, on the basis of their knowledge, on the basis of their understanding, taken a stand against FGM and have not done it. I have not done it to my daughter. My sisters, there are a lot of my friends, a lot of women I know who are part of our platform have not done it to their daughters. So yes, it's a movement which is growing, and the step forward for us is to break this cycle of perpetuity where each one of us takes a stand that we will not do it to our daughters. We have started a petition on change.org. The petition is addressed to the Women and Child Development Ministry, the Health Ministry and the Law Ministry, and in our petition we are appealing to these ministries to form and draft and enact a stringent law which will make the practice of FGM in India an offence. I urge all the viewers of this program and your friends and relatives to please come forward and sign on our petition. The petition is available on public domain. You can find it on change.org online. Please sign this petition. It is known as End FGM in India, and support us in this campaign. This is Masuma Ranalvi, a citizen journalist for CNN IBN.
You can sign that petition on change.org. Remember, every signature matters. With that, we're slipping into a very short break here on CJ Plus Agenda for Change Special. Welcome back. You're watching CJ Plus Agenda for Change. I'm out in the streets of the national capital. It's a cold Delhi winter night past 10 p.m. and the idea of taking an auto or a bus is still unfathomable for an average Delhi girl. But there is someone who's trying to make a difference. She's being the change that she wants to see. Anuradha is the first woman conductor in Noida. She decided that she will become one after the 16 December gang rape. Yes, let's listen to her story. Akansha Pradeep is meeting her for his very special report.
3 years after the horrific gang rape in Delhi in December 2012, has anything changed? Do women feel safe? Maybe or maybe not. The opinion is divided. Today I meet Anuradha, one woman who's striving to change the mindset of the people in the city and make public transport women friendly. Let's find out.
Just another day at work for Anuradha as she rides the UP SRTC bus from Parichok to Botanical Garden. While many single women are wary of the public transport, this 24-year-old is setting an example. She is the first woman bus conductor in Noida, a job that she took up to change mindsets.
दिसंबर में एक कांड हुआ था गैंग रेप वाला, तब मैंने ये ज्वाइन किया. मैंने कहा यार बस में कैसे हो सकता है ये सब. तो मुझे लगा कि मतलब देखूं मैं भी इसमें जाके कैसे लोग इतने बदतमीज़ होते हैं कि जानवर बिल्कुल जाग जाता है बदतमीज़ी करने पे कैसे. तब मैंने ये ज्वाइन किया था. आफ्टर ऑल 3 ईयर हो गई हैं मुझे.
3 years and thousands of bus rides later, Anuradha feels that there is still a long way to go for things to change on ground.
लेस मात्र भी नहीं लगता कि बदलाव आया हो. अगर थोड़ा भी बदलाव आता तो ये घटनाएं ज़्यादा की जगह कम हुई होती. बदलते ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है. कहीं कम हो रही हैं तो कम तो बिल्कुल नहीं है. अभी डेली गैंग रेप हो रहा है, डेली वो चीज़ें आ रही है, सुर्खियाँ डेली भरा पड़ा है अखबार. सेफ फील तो नहीं होता. जो रूट पे होता है तो सेफ फील.
Fearless and feisty as she may appear, Anuradha too has had a share of ugly experiences at work.
कुछ हफ्ते पहले की बात है, एक लड़का चलती बस में मेरा हाथ पकड़ के खींचता है, बोलता है पैसे नीचे दूंगा। चलती हुई बस में हाथ खींचा और वो सभी पैसेंजर बैठे हुए थे, किसी ने भी ये नहीं कहा कि भाई तू लड़की से ऐसे क्यों बोल रहा है, कोई बीच में बोला ही नहीं। वही वाली चीज़ है कि मोमबत्तियाँ मरने के बाद तो हर कोई आएगा कि हाँ मोमबत्ती लेके सहानुभूति में चल रहा है, पर जब ज़रूरत होती है हेल्प की तब कोई खड़ा नहीं होता है।
Despite this, women's safety tops the list when it comes to passengers on the bus.
ऐसा कई बार होता है, लड़का खड़ा है पीछे, लड़की खूब सारी भीड़ हो रही है, लड़की ने पकड़ा हुआ है, लड़का ऊपर हाथ पर रख रहा है, तो उस पर डांट देती हूँ, और क्या कर सकती हूँ। बशर्ते कोशिश यही होती है कि लड़की को साइड से करके बिठाल दूँ मैं। बाकी लड़कियाँ खुद कमज़ोर बन के दिखाएंगी तो ऑब्वियसली सामने वाला हावी होगा, स्ट्रांग होना चाहिए।
But breaking stereotypes and setting an example hasn't been easy. From surprise to disbelief and even mockery at times, Anuradha has overcome the odds.
पहली बार तो मैं लाइसेंस लेने गई ना, तभी वो जो बनाने वाले थे उन्होंने ऐसे देखा, बोले मैं पूरी मतलब कार्य अवधि में पहली बार कोई लड़की कंडक्टर बनने मतलब लाइसेंस लेने आई। तो मेरे ज़िले में मैं ही मतलब पहली बार गई थी।
From everyday harassment to people looking away, Anuradha has seen it all. She feels that unless the public stands up for women's safety, even the government initiatives are of little use.
हेल्पलाइन नंबर की बात करेंगे तो मुझे लगता है बिल्कुल बेकार है। अगर लोग ऑन स्पॉट हेल्प नहीं करते तो बेकार है ये। अभी बंदा जब मर जाएगा उसके बाद एम्बुलेंस बुलाओ तो उससे क्या फ़ायदा। जब लड़की के साथ रेप हो जाए तब पुलिस वाले आ रहे हैं तो उससे क्या फ़ायदा हो रहा है। तो हेल्पलाइन तब होगी जब हम लोग जागेंगे, खुद जागेंगे।
Anuradha is an example of not waiting for miracles but becoming an agent for change. That's all that we could pack in on this very special edition of CJ Plus. We will look forward to your feedback. Send them to us on ibncj.com. Facebook and Twitter are also ways to reach us. That's it then. We are wrapping this edition. Goodbye and take care.